At Healthcare Partners Medical Group, our mission is to provide the highest quality of healthcare to each and every patient. With 5 locations in Pahrump, we are local doctors you know and trust. We want to thank you for choosing us. Quality care starts here.
Pahrump Nugget, Progressive Cash Drawings, Mystery Point Multipliers, Mystery Gift Days, Extra Cash for 4 of a kinds, Bingo, Bowling, Football, and Food Specials. Looking for constant action? Look no further. Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino.
News 46 is brought to you by Healthcare Partners. News is brought to you in part by One Nevada Credit Union, where right now you could refinance your auto loan with rates as low as 2.98% and no payments for 90 days for qualified members. Call us today for details. News 46 is also brought to you by the Bankruptcy Center of Pahrump. When it comes to sensitive matters like bankruptcy, take a breath of fresh air by calling an experienced and compassionate attorney at the Bankruptcy Center of Pahrump, 775-727-4747. News is also brought to you by Pahrump Dermatology and Skin Cancer. When you need the best dermatology care in Pahrump, call Pahrump Dermatology and Skin Cancer, 775-727-9800. News is also brought to you by Hope Counseling Services, where we specialize in behavioral health, inspiring hope for a brighter tomorrow. Call 775-727-0101 for more information.
Tonight on News 46, a world record is set at the Nevada National Security Site.
The county commissioners balance the budget.
We have an update on yesterday's brush fire on Homestead. News 46 starts now.
You're watching KPVM News 46 with Doug Brindle and Rhonda Van Winkle. Local coverage from Deanna O'Donnell. News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, May 23rd, 2012. I'm Doug Brindle.
And I'm Rhonda Van Winkle for News 46. A world record was set today at the Nevada National Security Site when a 1,527-foot steel tower used in above-ground nuclear experiments in the 1960s was brought down in a planned demolition. The Bear Reactor experiment of Nevada Bren Tower is the tallest structure of its kind to ever be demolished. It's taller than the Empire State Building, taller than the Stratosphere in Las Vegas. The tower was brought down because of safety concerns and risks to the aircraft flying in the area.
The Bren Tower is a baroreactive experimental tower that was used back in the early 60s. The idea was to recreate the bomb that was set off over Hiroshima. And the tower's height, about a little over 1,500 feet tall, was set at that height to recreate the height of the explosion of the little boy atomic bomb over Hiroshima. And they placed a bare reactor on top of the tower to give off radiation similar to the amount of radiation that would have come from the atomic bomb, to simulate how much radioactive exposure the residents of Hiroshima would have experienced back in the day. Because it had a bare reactor on it back in the 60s, more than 50 years ago, we will, when the tower comes down, we will do a quick survey just to make sure there's no radiation there, but we don't really expect to see any.
The tower had 3 legs, sets of guy wires, and 12 cables attached at 6 separate elevations and anchored with concrete blocks. The tower was demolished by removing one leg at ground level and severing the tension guy wires and anchor on the opposite side.
There's about 50 pounds of high explosives. They're going to cut one set of wires. They're going to put a small amount of high explosives on one of the legs of the tower, set them off simultaneously, and then this will just fall of its own free will. There's no use for this area. We do have some Department of Defense activities that go on out here with some training exercises, but otherwise this part of the site's not in use.
The intent is to recycle as much of the steel as possible, which is 345 tons. However, radiological surveys will be performed on all of the tower debris, and any that cannot be recycled will be transported to either the Area 9 U-10C sanitary landfill or the Area 5 Radioactive Waste Management Center at the Nevada National Security Site. The tower was designed to withstand winds greater of 120 miles per hour. It was equipped with a 2-man elevator, which operated at a speed of 100 feet per minute. The tower has been moved once in 1966 to the location where it was demolished today. An unshielded nuclear reactor cobalt-60 source and a high-intensity neutron source were mounted on the tower, and the doses received in a nearby surrogate Japanese village and other surrogate structures were measured.
I had the opportunity in 1992 to go to the top. There's an elevator inside, a man elevator, holds 2 people, and we toddled along at about 2 or 3 feet per day, it seemed like. It took about 20 minutes to get up there, and climbed off the elevator on a little platform up there and kind of grabbed hold of the railing because the tower is swaying at all times. Wow. And finally said, oh, this is cool, and started walking around the small elevator, looking out to see what was to be seen, which was the whole world.
After the Brin and Henry experiments were completed in 1968, the tower was used for other research, including laser scintillation, small missile launch test, sonic boom research, meteorological experiments, gravity research, and tethered flight test. Since 1999, however, no significant federal mission or program has required use of the tower.
And a world record was set here at the Nevada National Security Site. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.
The Nye County Commissioners have passed a $60.28 million budget for the 2012-2013 fiscal year. It will take care of the current $1.6 million deficit. The budget continues current spending freezes, including a freeze on step pay increases, a 5% reduction in employee work hours, and a 50% reduction in overtime pay. Property taxes are expected to decline, but not as much as they did last year. General fund revenues are estimated at $32.5 million for 2013, down from $33.58 million in 2012 and $37 million in 2011.
Well, we approved a budget. We have to, at the county level and state levels, produce balanced budgets, unlike the federal government. And so through a lot of cutting and moving things around, we did come to a balanced budget that we will submit to the state. It is contingent on the county unions hopefully conceding again some things. And they've been great in the past. The employees have always stepped up to help out, and we hope that they'll come along again because we're like everybody else. Funds are very short. Just in gasoline tax over the last 2 years, we've collected $500,000 less a year, and we still have the same amount of roads. So, but that wasn't that money comes from gasoline tax. But property values have dropped, so that money is lower. So what we have to work with in the general fund and that budget is from property taxes, which everybody knows has gone down. And
some of the concerns were veterans, right, and a little bit of the senior care, but luckily that was not part of the budget.
No, that was taken care of in our workshop a few weeks ago. We Commissioners Boraski and I and everybody agreed that we weren't going to cut the veterans or the senior services, but again, it's contingent on what we end up with from the unions, and it's going to be contingent on the state once they have some number that they come out with June 25th. So June 29th, we're going to have a special meeting to certify our property tax rates. We're at the cap for the county anyway, so that's not going to go any higher. But we may have to make other adjustments later.
Working on that budget. But now the story before that, the tall tower.
Right.
I don't know about you, but when I was looking at the picture where it showed the railing and then how high it was, it actually affected me. It's really high.
That really, well, I thought some of those shots looked like they were taken out of an airplane window.
Whew.
1,500 feet.
That's
up
a
there.
big tower.
Be a fun bungee jump.
Oh, I don't know.
Right.
I couldn't do that. All right, everyone. We will have more local news coming up after the break. Please keep it here.
News 46 is brought to you by Affiliated Chiropractic and Affiliated Physical Therapy. Come in for your free consultation. Call 775-727-8900. Our goal is to create the individual treatment plan that will restore your health and end pain.
Welcome back to News 46. Firefighters battled a blaze on Homestead Road late into Tuesday night. They also had a crew on standby throughout the night in case of flare-up. News 46 spoke with Fire Chief Scott Lewis for a rundown of Tuesday's events.
Sure. Actually, we had two separate fires that occurred at that same property yesterday. The first one was earlier in the morning around 9:30, 10 o'clock. We had a report of a brush fire. Upon arrival, we in fact had a deep-seated mesquite fire. Through that, it was controlled relatively quick. We had little winds. The temperatures were just starting to come up, so we had good conditions, and the fire was easily controlled. Burned approximately a little less than half an acre of the deep-seated mesquite trees. We also determined during the course of that investigation that it appeared to be related to people who are squatting in that area. Approximately a couple hours later, we were redispatched for a report of another fire, and it was a little bit further east than the original, much larger, higher temperatures. The relative humidity was dropping, the wind conditions were increasing, so we fought a more volatile fire. Severe fire load consisting of the mesquite trees, as well as what we would call the accumulated dead material that had on the floor or the ground. And it was actually in piles throughout this entire area, so it had been managed at one other point in time. Extreme fire load, bad conditions, shifting winds caused a lot of challenges for us. But in no time were any structures in jeopardy. We were concerned about if it had traveled further west, that there was continuation of those mesquite trees all the way down to Oak Ridge. So again, we had our concerns. Very hot conditions, very high flame lengths, in some cases up 30 and 40 feet. A number of resources, as you saw. We exercised our mutual aid agreements, and the county came in, as well as BLM and U.S. Forest. And we actually had the first ever assembled, the Vegas Valley handline team had just been assembled. It came out later that day. We worked the fire starting around the 1 o'clock hour and worked it right through until about an hour and a half ago is when we cleared the scene. So right through the evening, we were watching for spot fires, which we did have several, again, due to the winds. We're watching it closely even today and for the next few days because our weather patterns are going to be changing once again. So all in all, it was a very good training opportunity for us because, again, it didn't have any life safety issues. There were no structures. It allowed us to get formulated for the upcoming wildland season.
And today the National Weather Service has actually issued a fire weather watch warning. What kind of precautions can people take to prevent fires from happening in these dry conditions and the winds as well?
Basically the same things we always express to them. No open flame, no use of grinding or welding materials in areas where there is an accumulation of waste material. In this case, such as yesterday, we're not sure if we're dealing with illegal activities that were occurring within these squatters' camps, but clearly someone left open flame behind and then it extended, especially with the winds.
The 7th Annual High Desert Shorts International Film Festival will be held at the Pahrump Nugget starting this Friday night. Linda Cass gives us all the details.
We're starting number 7 this year. It is absolutely amazing. We've gotten through this long and it's getting more and more popular and we have so much participation. It's really great.
You're in here in the hallway hanging up these really wonderful pictures. What are these?
Well, Crystal Dabrowski from Pahrump Valley High School has made this a class project, and the kids have just really stepped up to it. We used to only have just first place, and now we have first place, second place. This year we had a tie for third, and we have 34 honorable mentions. And so I have to display the art. These kids really, really participate, and they put their heart and soul into it. So I've got to really promote them.
They're going for the poster to promote the High Desert Shorts International Film Festival. This actually turns into the poster for the film festival, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. The one that's picked for first place turns into the poster, the commemorative poster for the festival for the year, and we use it in all of the advertising. And to promote, it goes on the website, and it's really a wonderful community spirit that everyone participates in. It's really very nice.
Really wonderful event. All up and down the hallways, we're here promoting the High Desert Shorts International Film Festival. But the film festival starts this weekend, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It starts Friday night, May 25th, 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5. The admission this year is $3 per person for the evening. And the evening goes from 6 p.m. to approximately 11. Same thing on Saturday. And then the awards ceremony on Sunday night is free.
How many films did we have entered this year?
We had probably close to 100, but we only chose 30. We picked the cream of the crop this year so the audience could really, really enjoy themselves.
Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue's Alan Bigelow will also be screening his film on Saturday night at the festival.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yep.
Well, everyone, we'll have part 2 of our interview with Linda Cass on Thursday night's Newscast.
And coming up after the break, more local news. Don't go anywhere.